I'm gonna see if anyone's listening to me. That's how I like to start my streams, muttering to myself about sending tweets.
It is a tradition.
Okay. I've sent out a tweet. If you're hearing me, please let me know. Sorry we're starting a little late. We had a lot of stuff to set up. Miguel's living room was a bit of a mess after PAX and unpacking and all that. We're still getting used to being back home. So, yeah, just sound off and in chat if you can hear me. Hopefully we didn't completely fuck up the audio. It's possible. It always finds new and surprising ways to fail on us. So yeah, just please sound off if you can hear. Oh, okay. Hi, Andy. I am going to get started then. So if this is your first time joining, I don't have any wisdom. I've none. I'm sorry. I cannot help you. If this is your first time joining, this is my regular stream. I missed the last couple weeks because of PAX, but I'm back now. And we are now 20 hours into Final Fantasy XIII, which is a game that is one of my favorite RPGs. I really like a lot of what it does systems-wise, and it's been the biggest influence on my upcoming RPG, Get in the Car Loser. So this week I'm not going to be showing anything of Get in the Car, just because I've just wrapped up more work on the final boss fight, which is a bunch of stuff that I can't show. But next week I'll be working on much more visually interesting stuff, and hopefully I'll have something new to show off then. But yeah, because of the timing of PAX and boss fight stuff, I just don't have anything new right now. So let's get started.
Where are we? Looks like a piece of pulse.
Pulse? What, you mean like the modem vestige? Something like that. It's close to Eden.
Yeah, well, what I don't understand is after the purge and all that fal'Cie paranoia, why keep a chunk of pulse under the floorboards?
Is this what the Primarch wanted us to see?
A place for fal'Cie to accept their fate.
Do you really think our focus is what Daisley said it is?
You mean become Ragnarok?
Destroy the fal'Cie Eden and shatter Cocoon. That's what the vision's telling us, more or less. So, we're back to square one. Out of luck.
Mr. Hero! Cocoon calling Snow!
It's almost like Daisley wants it to come true.
Seems that way. He sure didn't mind explaining it. Here's your focus on the silver platter.
But that doesn't make sense. I don't get it. Why would a Cocoon fal'Cie want to destroy Cocoon?
Maybe it's a fal'Cie thing. You know what I mean? Some grand design we just don't understand.
Huh. Hey, Snow. Nothing from you?
Uh-huh. So, this way?
So gathering that the tools for destruction turned you to crystal, huh?
Checking your brand? You start to stray or take too much of a shock, Your brand will change, and it'll be next stop Seath Central. Keep that in mind.
Wish I could say it was my piloted skills that saved us back there, but it wasn't. Truth is, the ship handled all the flying and shooting. I'm not talking about some jacked up autopilot either. Something wanted us to make it out of there, and made sure we did.
So where are we in the plot? We haven't escaped Cocoon yet, but we just fought Eden for the first time. It was definitely a slightly annoying fight, and we just escaped that. And I don't actually remember where we are exactly right now, but we're about to find out. Yeah. Probably at some point I'm gonna have to stop putting off upgrading weapons, but I'm gonna give it a little bit longer. At least to find out what party configuration I'm gonna be going with. Just as long as I can put it off, honestly.
Believe everything a fal'Cie says. He's telling us our focus is to destroy Cocoon. But who knows? He could be lying to trick us into helping him to do something else. We should listen to Sarah, not some fal'Cie.
So Daisley was really the fal'Cie Bartandalis. The vision he was talking about was that crazy Ragnarok dream we all had when we were made into a sea. One of us is supposed to become this Ragnarok thing and destroy Eden.
Sorry, yes, Bartandalis, not Eden.
This orphan that gives Eden its power. I think I have that part straight now. We ready to get out of here?
Yeah, I gotta apologize. Looks like I was wrong.
About Sarah's focus. Not like you to second-guess yourself.
Well, even heroes make mistakes.
What about your plan to protect Cocoon? Either way, your faith in Sarah was strong. That strength got you this far.
It was all wrong.
Yeah. You tried so hard to convince us that you even fooled yourself. You've been a total idiot. But still... it saved me. You trusted Sarah. Let that faith drive you. It even made me want to believe.
Sarah, talk to me, baby.
I feel like the game's been pretty even about giving like
I mean, those
you
are
know,
just
like
legends,
backstory and
right?
like world building details. Like it's been
I want to say we're close to Eden,
pretty
but
evenly
it's hard to
paced.
be sure.
Like I feel like it takes a while for it to hit like the stuff that I find like really interesting, but it's like constantly dripping out information about how the fal'Cie work and how the government of Cocoon works. And like what the purge was and what actually happened in Bodom.
I can't believe we're still in Cocoon.
It's kind of creepy.
Oh boy, friends. I'm going to remember to use Libra for once. Even still, they're just pretty normal. I might have spent too much time picking a paradigm there. This is looking pretty bad. Maybe I can
Keep the enemy off balance.
do it anyway. Let's see.
Target's a target.
But yeah, I feel like something that like I've really noticed in this playthrough, especially just because of needing to adjust the audio to like work over cutscenes, is that like this game is actually like astonishingly evenly paced. It does a lot of like, I feel like they had like a very fixed number in mind for how long you should be spending and how like when the next cutscene should be, and they've been really sticking with it, like to the point where like it's very predictable at what interval the next cutscene will occur at, which is surprising for... Okay, so here we go. This is the point where technically anyone can be any class. That said, there are still certain roles that are better for certain like characters than others. So I'm not going to be poking at that too hard just yet.
This place. It must be an ark.
An arc?
That's what they called them.
Long ago, the fal'Cie who made their home on Grand Pulse were afraid of invasion from the outside. As part of their battle preparations, they created an army of living weapons, and they stored those weapons in arks. And they hid the arks all over the world.
Everyone on Grand Pulse knew the legend.
So this is basically a Pulse armory.
Mm-hmm. Most of us never believed in them. A few people tried searching, but they never found a thing. Who'd have thought to look on Cocoon?
Right under our noses. Some secret they kept. Those Sanctum guys, what are they up to?
The story's not done. There's more.
They used to say the Arks had a more practical purpose.
Huh. Really?
Yeah, to force fal'Cie to master their shiny new powers.
Okay, so I get it. Daisley's goal is to forge us into stronger weapons. Right.
Not Seath, but monsters all the same.
Think of it as training for the fight ahead.
Hope's right.
Wait, what was that?
what are you about? Because you look suspiciously like a bomb. Yeah, it's a bomb. And did it start at half health? I feel like it did. I wonder what's up with that. Like, it wasn't a surprise attack, so. Neil, please heal me.
Thanks. Time for another approach.
Has it been the case that, like, the foley has always been the same even in, like, for footsteps? Has it been the case in, like, the, like, outdoor areas as well? Like, when you're on, like, grass or ground or whatever?
It also sounds like they're not doing a lot of image variation. It sounds like pretty much the same example.
I think you're right. Yeah, like, I can hear the...
And all the characters have the same one despite having different aware.
Yeah, Miguel's pointing out that, like, it does sound like something that repeats itself very, very quickly. Something I was going to point out, yeah, like, it's not that it's a bad... No. Wow, these guys are tough. Okay, I need to focus. Wait, why? Ugh, shit, that was not the paradigm I wanted at all. I need a sentinel and a medic. So I think the thing about the foley is that it's not that it's a bad footstep noise on its own, but that it does, like, get very repetitive if, like, that's what you're hearing the entire time. And I think really, like, your goal with footstep noises is that, like, the audience should just not be thinking about them. Like, if at any point you're thinking about footsteps, you've lost.
Keep a cool head.
Okay. Maybe this will do it. I'm not entirely sure what strategy I should be using against these guys. I don't think any of my paradigms feel really great against them. I will say I'm really impressed by the sound effects in battle. This is something that I did not realize how difficult it is until, like, I started working on my own RPG, is, like, you want to, you want to hear that background music, you want all the sound effects to feel really responsive without, like, completely cutting over everything. Just stuff like that little, like, tick every time an ATB meter fills, like, it's noticeable but not distracting, and that's honestly really impressive to me. Just like the button confirms feel like these are, again, like, something that's, like, really hard to get right. I remember being playing Persona 5, and I like a lot of the stuff about the audio design in that game, but the UI noises are really grating because they're just, like, a little too sharp. So, like...
So,
These ones are good. And I do think, like, noises in battle are in fact more important than footsteps, although it is still, like... Oh god, 2 bombs. Yeah, they're starting at half health. I don't know why that's the case, but I definitely wish to kill them very quickly. Okay, is the other one gone? I think it's gone. Yes, it's dead.
Time for another approach. And so it ends.
Oh, possibly they can heal themselves by attacking? That's interesting. Yeah, I'd be interested to find out what's going on with their design. I wonder if we'll see that behavior once we've had a little more time to adjust. It is like always a problem with enemies where the strategy is focus on them and kill them immediately, is that often you don't actually get to see why you're doing that. I feel like ideally you want to have it blow up in your face at least once, just so you know like what it means for it to blow up in your face. Which has been something I've been thinking about with like certain enemy designs, because I feel like it's a common strategy for like making enemy encounters interesting, is that you just have one enemy that isn't otherwise the enemy that you focus on. Like, it's not the one with the most health, but it is like the one you want to stop doing damage, so you focus on that. Sorry, I got my wires crossed there. That's not what I meant to say. A really obvious example of this is you have an enemy that has a lot of health, but also like it does a lot of damage, so you want to focus on that first, even though normally your strategy is pick off weak enemies. So like that's the most obvious way to set up that scenario, is you want to have an enemy or an encounter set up where basically you do something different from what you'd do normally. But when it's too simplistic, it just turns into, you know,
Back me up.
you just always pick on this one and you don't actually really see the difference, because it's not that much of a correction to your strategy. Like, I will say one thing that's making me do here right now is that it's keeping me from switching to something with a healer, even though these Pulsework Knights hit pretty hard. So that's slightly interesting. Yeah, Moriarty is correctly identifying the problem here is that if you have like a bomb enemy, but it's easy enough that like, it's easy enough in the introduction that like it never explodes, you know, you'll never actually get the consequence for that.
Be ready for the next fight.
And oh, I really like that that dissolve where it turned into the like activated bomb, like the bomb enemy like monster type as it faded away. That's really good. I wonder what animation, like how they've determined like what animations run as they dissolve. I'm gonna pay attention to that a little more.
Nothing I can't handle.
Like, I think a big part of the problem here is that their paradigm for, like, introducing encounters to you is that they first, like, give you some easy ones to introduce you to the mechanics, and, like, normally that's something that makes sense. If it's a mechanic that comes into play immediately, that's something that makes a lot of sense. Whereas... Okay, I don't think I've used Libra on these guys. I should do that. I should stop forgetting to use Libra. Okay. This information is not useful to me. Basically what this is telling me is that these are enemies that have a low chain resistance, so their stagger meter will increase quickly. They have a very high stagger point, and they have very little hit points. So basically, like, it doesn't even matter. These are enemies where, like, you don't even want to be fixated on staggering them because... Yeah. I like these designs a lot. That is just like a good upsetting color. No, I have not talked about, I've not compared the Final Fantasy XIII mechanics to the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo, which I played, and I was really interested in it because people were saying that it was very similar to 13, and I think it's a little hard to tell because, like, the demo is so... the demo is, like, the very start of the game, so, like, a lot of the mechanics, like, haven't come together yet, and, like, the encounters in the demo are very easy, so, like, I'm not sure what it's gonna be like once you actually start getting to, like, harder parts, and, like, fighting enemies that aren't just, you know, like, mostly generic grunts. But honestly, I think... Oh god. I got poisoned and I didn't notice. Fuck. Please don't die, Faniel. But, the biggest thing that I noticed about, so, like, 7 Remake has a stagger bar, and I think they want, like, it definitely reminds me a lot of this in terms of just, like, the physical presentation. I think they're, like, definitely, like, expecting a lot of people to compare the two. But,
Thank you.
it doesn't seem to actually lend the property of momentum. Like, the stagger meter, in Final Fantasy XIII, what it does is that, like, it means that, you do, like, small amounts of damage at first, then, like, as momentum goes your way, you do a lot, and, like, win the fight, like, within, like, dramatic succession. And it doesn't work that way in the 7 Remake at all, because the stagger meter is a lot, the time that enemies spend in stagger state is really short compared to this. Like, in this, enemies are staggered for a really long time, and, like, it's supposed to feel really good as you gang up on them in that state, whereas in the 7 Remake, I think their goal is to make it feel like now that they've entered stagger, for one thing, like, it's a fixed amount. You just push them over the edge and it sets a fixed multiplier and it counts down really quickly. So I feel like you're supposed to feel like, okay, I've gotten them into this state, now I need to do a lot of burst damage very quickly.
Nothing I can't handle.
Yeah, there's the pressured state, which I don't entirely understand yet. I think the idea is just like encouraging you to be very aggressive, which is good. That's a good goal. But I think it's just not as big a priority in like managing stagger doesn't feel as important in 7 Remake as it does in this. Like, it doesn't feel like it's the main thing you should be worried about. Whereas, like, in this, you're basically not going to be winning fights unless you're, like, using stagger effectively. Whereas in 7 Remake, it feels like it's giving you, like, a secondary goal to work towards. So, like, it's just one more thing to think about where you're like, well, should I use this attack or should I use the other attack? Well, he's currently not staggered, so I should use the attack that pushes him into a stagger state. Or he is staggered, therefore I should use the one that, like, exploits that. And they also sort of have that balance with, like, Punisher mode that Cloud has, which is also, like, makes you a little more vulnerable because you can't, like, move as effectively, but you do a lot of damage. And, like, I don't think these are necessarily bad goals. They're not pulling out the thing that I find interesting about the system in 13. Like, it's not... Yeah, it's just not, like, the stuff that I'm drawn to. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. And honestly, I think the more interesting thing isn't the stagger system, it's the ATB system. Which... I don't think I'm going backwards. I think I just entered a room that is similar. I could be wrong. This is a very easy game to get turned around in. Yeah, it's really hard to tell, but I don't think it would be throwing... I'm pretty sure there would be no enemies here, so... There's that orb, but the problem is I know there was an orb in the first room that I missed, so... It is, in fact, extremely plausible. Well, let's see. Just gonna rush through a bunch of stuff quickly. Yeah, I think I got turned around. This is something that I think is straight up a problem in this game, is that it's very easy for that to happen. Yep. Yeah, the item orbs are usually a reliable indicator, but unfortunately I did just... There's one in here that's... I don't actually know how to get to it, so... Yeah, like, how do you just get there? Is it... I guess there's a... set of steps at the... top of here? Yeah, okay.
Nothing I can't handle.
I mean, I do always love a good orb. Anyway, the thing I was gonna say is that something I really like about the 7 remake, at least in the demo that we've seen so far, is that, it reminds me a lot of actually the Western RPG thing, like the, you know, classic, like, Baldur's Gate, or like classic Obsidian games, or like the style of like computer RPGs where you pause combat midway and like, of course, correct your tactics and then let it fly again. I feel like I've seen this a lot, and it's never really quite clicked for me personally. I find it like just really disorienting, but 7 Remake has a thing where basically it encourages you to attack to build up your ATB meter, which like kind of functions like a... Can I just ignore these guys? I really don't want to fight them twice. They just weren't that exciting an encounter. I feel like making pause a resource that like you can pause at any point, and the way they slow down time when you pause feels really cool. They did a really good job at making that feel satisfying. Okay, so I want to go downwards and not get turned around. And yeah, sure, I guess I'll fight these jerks. But yeah, I feel like making pause to use a tactic something that you have to go back and forth between the slightly action-y gameplay, and then once you've built up your pause meter,
Thank you.
you can then fire off the tactical stuff. I think that's really interesting. It feels good. I don't know if it'll actually be hard.
Thank you.
So far they haven't really proven that they know how to make pull interesting encounters out of that yet, but also it's super early, and I feel like it does feel really satisfying to do. They've taken certain ideas that were in Final Fantasy XIII that just didn't quite click for me, and they feel satisfying. So hopefully they can actually, create some difficult scenarios out of them. I feel like the boss encounter was pretty close to that, and it was it was fairly fun. So that's the thing that I'm more excited about rather than the stagger stuff, is basically what I'm saying.
Nothing I can't handle.
Okay, so I think my goal is take out one of these jerks just so it doesn't merge with its friends. And then...
New strategy.
Oh, no, he's still, still definitely, Okay, that did not go well. Let's try that again. I'm gonna take a look at my paradigms. I'm not really sure what I have on deck right now. These have been feeling really weird. I've been staring at them and they just haven't quite felt right. So okay, first let's level up everyone. Cause it's been a while since we've done that, and yeah, everyone has a lot of CP. So let's still focus on, yeah, so I could like class Lightning into Sentinel, for example, but I'm not going to because that's not necessarily the most useful thing I can do right now. I should be focusing on Ravager, because that's her best role. Whoops. I definitely don't envy Square's situation where, like, they have to be asking themselves, like, do they want, like, Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 to be something that anyone can jump into, or, like, does it need to be something that, like, you must play, like, Episode 1 first? Because, like, I think that's ultimately, like, what it's going to come down to in terms of, you know, like, how do they track progress? And, like, if they don't track, like, character progress and, like, they're not building up, you know, like, variation across character abilities, because, like, they seem to be playing that up in the demo right now, where, like, they really want characters to feel distinct even, like, past their materia, which is really interesting. And, like, they're leaning into that way more than the original did, but, like, at the end of the day, like, they're not gonna be able to pull out enough difficulty if they can't, if they're assuming that, like, any could be the player's introduction. Okay. Finally getting the good stuff. These are extremely what I want to be using. There we go. I've finally gotten the ability to just re-extend debuffs, which is, I think, slightly confusing that it doesn't work that way already. Chat can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I believe the way it works is that if you cast, say, D-Shell on an enemy, it'll put them into the D-Shell state, so they're more vulnerable to magic. But if they cast it twice, it won't actually, like, re-up the timer on how long it takes for D-Shell to, you know, go away. So, it means, like, leaving someone as a saboteur in the battle isn't necessarily that, useful for extended periods of time. Whereas now they'll be able to keep that debuff going and also, like, keep the stagger meter going with casting new ones. I feel like that's, like, the part where it gets slightly more complicated than, well, it's slightly more complicated than, like, I would have done, and as a result, a lot of these things are simplified in Get in the Car, but I think also you're not necessarily, like, you don't need to be thinking about them, like, they're not things that you need to keep in mind as you're fighting in terms of, like, the moment to moment. It's just things that change your broad tactics. Okay, what do I want to focus on for... I want to focus on for hope here. Okay, doesn't have any new abilities. What do you have as a synergist? But I do think it still, like, has the problem of you unlock an ability and you don't necessarily understand what it's going to be doing to your tactics. Especially if you, like, you haven't spent a, like... Especially if you're not extremely deep into it. And the fact that, like, even now I'm not entirely certain about that means that, like, they never do an amazing job of explaining. So, like, I think it's, I don't know. They do have a school design here where there are a lot of they think that the important thing is to have a lot of complicated rules that, like, just nudge the course of combat towards certain goals. And sometimes they show those in the forms of, like, these abilities that change the way things work. And sometimes they don't. And that's, like, seen in the form of, like, the commando's effect on the stagger meter, where, like, it never really explains that the commando keeps the stagger meter from dropping. It's just something you have to see for yourself and gain an intuitive understanding of. Okay, that's cool. That's one that, like, I look at the description and immediately understand. Okay, so I'm thinking about my party configuration here, and I think probably... I think right now I'm gonna consider swapping out Snow for Fang. Sorry, Snow, I love you. I want her as a better saboteur, or sorry, as a better sentinel, and I think she's a better commando as well. Let's see how this goes. Relentless Assault, always a good start. Panic button, sure. What I really want is this. And this. I think that will help me out in the fight against those worms. I think. We'll see. One more. What do I want? I guess Compom Wrap for now. We'll see how that goes. Tri-Disaster is definitely not useful right now. We're not encountering a lot of enemies that need to have, like, stagger bursted very quickly, and also I think I'd rather,
Keep out of this. On your knees. Keep out of this.
Oh, does Jinx extend the duration of all active debuffs? That's really interesting. Okay. So we need a sentinel in there then. That's fine. have a sentinel in the party. We'll try that. Maybe I should just try to take out the worms because they're poisoning me. And if these guys merge, they'll merge. That's fine. Just have to deal with it. But they at least die really quickly and... Alright, solidarity, take out the worms.
Thanks.
So, like, I would describe this as an example of the strategizing entirely around who you kill first as, in fact, interesting. They've created a scenario where you think that you want to kill the ooze first because they have the ability to merge, and then you try that, and then you get killed by poison instead. So, it is forcing you to strategize around that. And like consider like what is the priority for who you focus on. Oh.
Thanks.
You're gonna swerve!
Sad if I could just...
New strategy. This'll be quick. This'll be quick. This'll be quick.
Yeah, and I think like one advantage of this game's approach to encounter design, which is extremely based around having several enemy types and then giving you different numbers of them. Like in this area, there's about, I think we've seen about 4 different enemy types, and they're just like giving you different configurations of them. Sometimes they're on their own, sometimes they're not. And okay, I feel like I need something with both Ravager and Medic in the party. Do I have that? I don't think I do. That is my foolishness. Okay, if I can push him over the edge really quickly before Fang dies. Well, this is not looking great. It's fine, we'll kill him. This is just not a... But yeah, I feel like one of the strengths of this game that I really like a... Yeah, that was a 0-star fight. Target time was 1:30. I definitely did not make that. No, like, one of the things I really like in this game is that it's not afraid to have encounters, like just random encounters that are hard. That's really good. Like, that's just a normal-ass fight where you have to strategize. I tried, I still didn't quite figure it out, like what the strategy is to do it. That's great. And yeah, just like by giving you different configurations of enemies that like...
Nothing I can't handle.
God, these paradigms, yeah, are not what I want. I really need to...
New strategy. I'll deal with you.
Alright. I need Calm Rav Med. Really badly. Not using this. Right. It's Rav Com Med. There we go. Diversity. Love diversity. That said, what am I gonna fight these guys with? Let's just replace this for now with this. I think I'll probably change it back immediately afterwards, but it seems to be useful for these guys.
Back me up.
Because yeah, these guys just want, I think they just want commando damage. I think that's the lesson I'm learning here.
Thank you.
Maybe? Okay, no, I think I need a sentinel. Alright. Let's play this even more cautiously then. With, whatever Calm Sentinel Rav, or Calm Sentinel Medic is.
Let's get this over with.
Solidarity.
Go ahead.
This'll be quick.
Solidarity and diversity, both important.
You can do it.
This'll be quick. This'll be quick.
It's funny how resistant to this paradigm I've been since, oh. Well. Man. Guys are just kicking my ass.
No.
I really wonder what the... I thought Sentinel would be enough. Huh. Maybe, yeah, like, I could use an Eidolon to wipe it out, but I don't really feel like that would solve the tactical problem. What are Hope's synergist abilities looking like right now? Like, if we get some, yeah, if we could get, like, Protect on, that might be good. Yeah, okay. Let's try swapping out Vanille. Sorry, team all lesbians has to go. I'll just focus on the paradigms for this fight. Let's try panic button. No reason to remove that. Just a good starting paradigm. Get everyone some buffs and some debuffs. And then I'm going to do, okay, we have Calm Sen, Synergist. I don't think we'll actually need that one. I think we'll get enough buffs using evened odds. And then switch to Solidarity to actually fight. Okay, let's try this. Do this to beat this encounter of just a bunch of fucking guys.
Keep out of this.
but
This'll be quick.
hopefully this will do it.
This'll be quick.
I really needed those nutrients. Okay, here we go. Fang doesn't seem to be willed away as badly as she was, probably because of those buffs. So I think that was the strategy. It doesn't look like. God, there's so many of them.
This'll be quick.
There's still just so many of them.
This'll be quick.
I'm frankly I'm like, I feel like I've knocked out half of them and I'm still kind of nervous about taking out a sentinel.
Thanks.
And something I like about this encounter is this is like very clearly a handcrafted encounter just to be an absolute jerk move right in front of a treasure chest. So like it really is just challenging you to fight like it's not even it's not even a mini boss, it's just annoying. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna play it safe here. I don't think I'm getting 5 stars on this one. I'm frankly not even sure I'm gonna get 1 star on this. Okay, maybe now I can switch to something damaging for everyone. Yeah, okay, that was slightly a 0. Yeah, I have played Indivisible. I liked it. I really like the writing in it a lot. I like their approach to animation. Definitely, I really like their influence from fighting games is like, you know, very obvious in that like a lot of the your attacks and like what attacks work well together are like very clearly driven by like frame data and hitboxes, which I like. I think we were both like definitely inspired by Valkyrie Profile in terms of like the way the buttons work out. So it was interesting to see that like. Okay, now I need to remember what my strategy is for these guys. Okay, that poison is really looking discouraging. I feel like that was probably what killed me in the... Yeah, okay. Let's panic button just for a moment while I think through what my next approach here is gonna be. Okay, we'll use Solidarity, take out the small guy, because I think we can do that pretty quickly.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really like that weird bubbling noise. That's definitely like another example of a sound effect that's like not too distracting, but definitely like gives you the right level of flavor.
Time for another approach.
Keep the enemy off balance.
I mean, I can think of one bad thing about a flan is that they're fucking murdering me, and I'd really appreciate if they stopped. you know what I haven't done? I haven't used Libra on the big form. Okay, not useful. Sorry, Fang. So I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really encounter like the actual food flan until adulthood, and Final Fantasy gave me some really weird expectations about what it would be like. For one thing, it turns out they're usually a lot smaller than you'd expect, and do a lot less elemental damage. God, this is definitely gonna be another 1 star. Or 0 star, I should say. Yeah. No, this chapter's definitely been like hitting me with a brick. I'm not unhappy about that. It's clearly showing that like you know, I could be leveling up, I could be upgrading my weapons, which I have not done and might be hitting the point of. That said, like, I am barely scraping by, so like it's not necessarily, it's not a problem, but it's definitely doing a good job at giving me the hint of I need to be focusing even more on like what are my tactics and like how am I approaching fights. Sab, Synergist, Sab. Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, you have full control over your party at this point. I mean, the thing is though, I don't know when the game expects you to do weapon upgrades. They're definitely,
I can't handle.
You're gonna swerve! See ya! You asked
okay,
for it.
also I should probably
This'll be quick.
switch some paradigms.
This'll be quick.
Okay. Well.
On your knees!
I need something that gives Hope Azuna. Maybe? Yes, okay.
Give it your best shot.
Azuna takes out whatever disabled me. I need to use Libra on both of these jerks. Yeah, one thing I'm really unclear on is, like, it's not optimal to upgrade your weapon upgrades, until you hit chapter 13, basically. Like, you don't have really enough of an income source to do it, and the way that, the game wants you to be upgrading your weapons, yeah, like, the game encourages you, because it has a multiplier system, it encourages you to save up a bunch and dump them all in at once. And also it encourages you to, like, commit to a weapon that you're going to be upgrading, which, at this point in the game, you still honestly don't have enough information. Like, the only reason why I know is because I've, like, looked at guides that tell you which ones you should be focused on. So, and also, like, your actual resources are very limited at this point. So, I don't know what they expect you to be doing with your weapon upgrades, but I know what it's pressuring you into doing, and what it's pressuring you into doing is, like, ignoring it. Okay, so I'm not sure which one I should be focusing on first. I guess I guess Teeny is weaker. And...
Thank you.
okay, well I guess let's focus on Teeny for now.
New strategy.
We'll see how this goes. I mean, what I really want to know is which one of these has Disable. Finally! That thing we all love to see. Launch. Oh, wait, hold on there, Fang. Hopefully we can stagger it. And there we go. One hit point, she's fine.
You know what to do.
And I will say in general, like, all my complaints about, the weapon upgrade system is that it's really hard to discourage players from being conservative. Often, a lot of the time,
Just another battle.
things that seem interesting, that, like, create, like, interesting risk-reward situations, or things that, like, encourages you to do dramatic things are often what create, like, you know, perverse conservative incentives. Like, sometimes it's just, like, sometimes it just comes down to psychological. Like, if you have a game where you're encouraging people to have, like, one of every type of weapon, for example. Just because, like, there's flavor reasons for that. That's, like, you know, just entirely about player psychology. And I don't know what you can do about that. Well, I mean, rather, I know what you can do about that, but it's not as easy to solve. I think it's a different class of problem than... oh man. Okay, which one's casting days? Teeny is casting days, so definitely this is the guy that I really hate. Yeah, I like this encounter because it's similar to the, we got an encounter that was similar to this earlier. They had the same, same body type. Like, they're both, like, the dancing bird people. The succubus and the incubus, but their buffs were different. And this is, like, days as a status effect is... I don't know if you've been noticing, but I've been really noticing how annoying it is, because it, like, locks down an entire party member for... long enough to be noticeable, which is pretty bad if that party member is, you know, your entire damage output.
Let's get this over
Okay,
with.
yeah, here's a good...
Keep out of it.
Here's a good example of, I don't know which ones to focus on. I think it might still be the bomb, but like... Well, it wasn't the bomb. I really thought it was gonna be the bomb, but it wasn't. Okay, let's try again. Without, without Fang dying. And maybe this will still fuck me up. I'm not sure. Let's find out.
You know what to do.
Oh, this doesn't count. I'm gonna get the,
Thanks.
I'm just gonna kill them all with the sneak attack. I feel like that's a real problem with the sneak attack system, is that sometimes you try a fight again and it gets confused and just drops you into a sneak attack on them. So, honestly, this feels like cheating. Like, I'm gonna do pretty well in this encounter, and I don't deserve it. I did not actually learn what the strategy is.
Keep the enemy off balance.
Bring it on!
I feel like the sneak attack system in this just doesn't lend something interesting. I understand what they were going for. They wanted it to, you know... They wanted there to be something to do in the world map that was, like, thinking strategically, other than just, like, trying to, like, start a fight. But in practice... I don't know, in practice it doesn't work out very well. It's hard to get sneak attacks. It's not interesting to get sneak attacks. There's those bits in the world geometry where you can, like, flank enemies, but they're really rare and sort of... I don't know. I just don't think they're actually that interesting.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Is that just taking me back up? I feel like it is. Let's see if I can see an orb. No, I don't see an orb. Okay. Wait. Fuck, have I been in this room before? I can't tell.
I don't like this one bit.
No, new dialogue.
These things. Alive.
What's this sanctum up to? Are they planning to start a war?
Oh boy. I really like these enemy designs a
Mind on
lot.
the battle. Time for another approach.
This is frustrating because I'm actually not going to learn what the deal with them is. Like, I feel like that's the thing about sneak attacks, is that actually landing them often robs you of an opportunity to learn about how to deal with an enemy, and I think that's really frustrating. Although, this guy's definitely not going to die before Stagger goes down. Wow, that's a lot of hit points. Oh boy. I'm just gonna
Thanks.
get some buffs in here just in case they hit hard. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay. I see what they're going for here. You'll note that this guy's stagger limit is really low. It's 150%, which is like, generally, like, big enemies have higher ones. And he has like it's not a super low chain resistance, but it's like on the lower side of things. It's not a high chain resistance. But also his stagger meter is dropping really fast, and his hit points are enormous. So even with 2 Ravagers in the party, like I think I'm probably only gonna get his stagger meter to around 700 before the 700% before the meter completely runs out. And okay, a little more, but like it's clearly not taking a huge chunk off its health. I've taken off like a third with each stagger cycle, I want to say. Maybe a quarter in the first stagger cycle, and then like I got him down to like another quarter left. So yeah, this is definitely a guy where the idea is that it's going in and out of stagger a lot. Which would be a great opportunity for Smite if Smite like wasn't so fussy.
Just another battle.
Yeah, okay. That's a neat encounter. And yeah, it's not really harmed by, you know, getting you the sneak attack. Smite is an ability that triggers automatically if you try to use an attack while the enemy is about to run out of stagger. They might also need to be in the air. I'm not 100% sure on that. But the problem is it basically requires, like, yeah, it requires Fang to be up in the air at the exact moment that stagger's about to run out, which is very fussy, and you can't really do it, like, you can't deliberately do it. It just sometimes happens, which I think is fairly frustrating. Like, the thing where launch happens automatically, that's really good. They absolutely nailed that. Oh, that was one thing I wanted to say about the Final Fantasy VII Remake, actually. It doesn't have launch, which is disappointing, because I feel like everything in the world should have launch. But it does have Cloud jumping up into the air to attack, like, airborne enemies automatically as if they were launched, and that's still pretty satisfying animation-wise. It's just, it just looks really good to see. Am I gonna find out what Forge Blade actually does? Like, are you ever gonna get a chance to pull it off? Yeah, it's true. The 7 Remake definitely has lots of time to introduce launch with different characters, because they really want to make the different characters feel, like, distinct. So, I really hope they do get that in there.
Well, at least we shouldn't run into SciComm here.
Suppose
Silver lining. Yeah, I wasn't super huge on the combat in Radiant Historia, but definitely the thing where, like, you are encouraged to, like, push enemies into like first like their own row and then push everything into a row into like a single pile and then like just beat on them is definitely a fun premise.
I'll deal with you.
Okay, Libra. Also, I like these guys' design as well. This game just has really good monster designs. They're just... Oh, okay. Yeah, you will note that's what low chain resistance is like, so despite the fact that these guys have low hit points, it might still be better to just, like, try to stagger them immediately. Let me know if the stream gets choppy again. Looks like we're in the green right now, but... Ah, I didn't notice their friend. What's going on with their friend? Just higher level... actually serious hit points.
New strategy. Bring it on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I really love, like, how this game reuses, like, base enemy designs and, like, has variations on them. I'm not entirely sure, like, what it must mean budget-wise, because a lot of the variations seem really different. Like, they're not just, like, they're not just texture differences a lot of the time. So, I don't know if they're, like, if they're saving arts budget. They're definitely saving animation budget, which might be enough to make it worthwhile. Wait, no, fuck. That was not the paradigm I wanted. This might be blown.
New strategy.
Like, the fact that all the enemies that have, like, body type variations means that they don't, yeah, they don't need to do, like, animation variations, and that might actually be the bigger point of, oh my god. Okay, these imps are fucking me up more than I thought. This is a rare opportunity to actually use the AoE abilities. That's what, yeah, Blitz is. Oh god. Man. Fang just keeps eating shit. I wonder if... Yeah, okay, let's try this again, but with better tactics. There's also... I mean, I can tell you, everyone's equipment is dog shit right now, but let's optimize for defensive. That'll give her... Not looking great. Here's my question, what's... Okay, she has Metaguard, so that's not the problem. Let's level up a bit. Just for fun. Oh. Okay. Does he have fire resistance? That's a good question. I think he does, so I think I should probably be using him as a synergist. I'll have to double check on that. If not, we might need to rethink the synergist choice. Yeah, you can switch between characters in the Crystarium menu using the bumpers. I just keep forgetting. Like every single time. I realized it was a second too late. It's that's not the game's fault, that's mine. I'm not sure they could have done anything to fix that. Okay, wait, hang on. What was this? Oh, no, I got it. These are not gonna help me right now, but it doesn't hurt. Yeah, okay. So here's the thing that I wanted to check. I want to check Hope, see if he has Fire. Yes, he does. So he can protect the party from fire. These paradigms are not very good. I don't like these. Let me think about this. This is slightly unnecessary, I think. So let's switch it to Bully. What else? I can always switch to, Do I need a Saboteur much? I don't think. I think leaving her as a Saboteur at the start of the battle, but then switching makes sense. Yeah, okay, let's give this a shot. I think that should be enough. I think Barfire will honestly be enough to just stop me from getting murdered by this.
You know what to do.
But also, like, if I take advantage of this preemptive strike in a better way, that'd be great. Okay. Took out the guys in the preemptive strike. Now let's get Barfire on me.
Target's a target.
And yeah, it doesn't matter. Let's just go aggressive.
You're gonna swerve. Was I missing anything in this room? Is there an orb here? No orb.
Well, numbers aren't everything.
Thanks, Hope. Okay, not sure what the tactic here is yet, other than, like, they're gonna merge. I cannot stop them from merging.
Thanks.
This'll be quick.
That is an inevitability.
This'll be quick.
At least,
This'll be quick.
hopefully, I can
This'll be quick.
take out the poison.
You're gonna swerve.
Yeah, I also found 13.2 to have some really big difficulty spikes.
Time for
I don't
another
think it's a
approach.
problem. I think, again, like, I like that these games are hard. I like that they're willing to give you enemy encounters that really fuck you up.
This'll be quick.
I think, honestly, they're making the most out of the thing where, like, you get a full heal.
This'll be quick.
You get a full heal after the end of every battle. Like, that lets them make battles really brutal, and I love that a lot. But, yeah, there are definitely just some areas in Final Fantasy XIII too that I would describe as being kind of bullshit. Like, there's just certain... Caius is really good. I like the fights with him. They're, you know, like, weird and interesting. I feel like, the Academy area just had some rough stuff. And, like, not in a way that, like, the mini boss encounters here can be difficult, but just, like, too time consuming.
Let's get this over with.
Huh, okay, what's my game plan here? I'm not sure.
This'll be quick.
Steady now. Don't worry.
But yeah, I do really like that they built this entire game around having combat encounters like that can be very difficult or like very lethal at least, if not like hard, like just things that like require a few tries. And like I feel like got a lot of use out of that between this game and Final Fantasy XIII too, and then with Lightning Returns, because it does have the carryover hit points, they then got to see, you know, what does this system look like when suddenly you do have to worry about, like, not just surviving an encounter, but like not getting killed by it, or like not taking damage by it. And honestly, like, I feel like it still managed to conserve a lot of the momentum properties, which is really interesting to me. Well, I got distracted. And then killed by imps.
No. Nothing I can't handle.
Keep out of this. On your knees.
Okay, panic button. Let's see how this goes.
Give it your best shot.
It really was nice of the imps to like just hang out together and like conveniently within blitz range. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Yeah, unfortunately now I can't unhear that the run cycle in this is just like a single loop.
On your toes. You're gonna squirm.
There's just like a lot of choreography going on here. On your toes, on your knees. Is there anywhere else that anyone should be?
Thank you.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's great. I love getting murdered by behemoths. Okay, this is not telling me anything useful. I guess. If he's vulnerable to deep protect, I guess we could have used something with Fang Saboteur, but well, whatever. For now, let's see if I can stagger him before he decides to stand up. Nope. Well, shit.
Don't worry.
Thanks.
RD in chat is suggesting a difficulty mode where if you get less than 5 stars in a fight, you fail to fight. I love that. That feels like extremely within the, like, that's just such a really good way of adding difficulty. I do think one problem with that is that a lot of these encounters are not necessarily, since it's entirely revolved around time spent, which is a good metric. But I don't know if it's a perfect metric. Like, okay, for one thing, I feel like I did pretty well in that fight. But maybe I could have done better if I had deep protect. Does Fang even have that? No, she does not even have it, so it's a moot point. Okay. The good news is Raise is actually it's a medic ability, so maybe maybe Fang dying will be a little less catastrophic now.
This'll be quick.
Steady now.
This'll be quick.
I mean, less catastrophic doesn't mean not catastrophic. I just want to clarify there. It still implies that there is an amount of catastrophe that's just built in. Oh. See? We survived Fang eating shit. It's a miracle.
This'll be quick. This'll be quick.
Something that like I continue to be impressed by in this game is the way it uses like flashes of color to like as an effect, both on like your impacts and also like on the flans doing like their swipey thing. That's a really good. It's just a really good effect. Oh. I mean, my instincts say I'm gonna fucking die, but I really do wanna, like, take on, like, 10 worms at once.
On your knees!
Oh boy.
This'll be quick.
Just a quick heal.
This'll be quick.
Steady now. Thanks.
This'll be quick. This'll be quick.
Fang, please calm down. I really need my nutrients in me. I feel very strongly about this. Noctil killed J. Why did they go all the way to J? That's so many slugs.
Nothing personal.
Nothing personal.
This'll be quick.
New strategy. Keep out of it.
Just imagine how long a sneak attack animation would be. Yeah, that would. Really? I feel like that was at least 2 stars. That's what I think. Like, okay, first time I went through that was definitely a 0-star fight. I feel like that should have been 2 stars. I feel like I did reasonably okay there. And I don't even get an orb to show for it. Man, that's bullshit. I wanted an orb.
Kind of landmark.
Oh boy. Well, I'm gonna get an orb for this one at least.
This'll be quick. This'll be quick.
Thanks.
Give it your best shot.
Yeah, like, look at the little lines that flash on them every time they get hit.
Give it your best shot.
Okay, well... Like, I think what's impressing me here is that they actually have, like, a way to show, like, a lot of different, gradations of, like, taking damage. Like, part of it is that, like, they're conveying elemental damage by using these effects in a way that, like, isn't, like... that doesn't focus too heavily on the elemental part, but still conveys it.
This'll be quick.
Which is, I think, pretty cool. Like the differences between commando attacks and Ravager attacks on the impacts is like, you can just see the difference when they hit, which is good. Oh, I don't think people should be launched. Only launch for enemies. Oh, I hate it when they stand up.
You asked for it.
Thanks.
Give it your best shot. Keep a cool head.
It's definitely like such a... It makes a lot of sense that they get a lot of use out of Behemoths. Like, they use this enemy type a lot during the game. It's a very memorable one. And it makes sense because they need to have two entirely unique sets of animations because, like, they're basically just two different enemies. Like, they're not saving anything on the animation. Does his stagger resistance change after standing up? I'm not sure. That's a good question. I will check. So like right now, when he's standing up, it's his chain resistance is 70. My intuitive feeling is that it doesn't change, but I could be wrong on that. But the thing where like you almost killed it, it changes state and regains all its hit points but doesn't change the stagger meter, I think is a really good way of doing it. That like makes it not too much, like it makes it not feel too unfair, which is, you know, obviously good. Yeah, it's hard to tell. I'll look at the chain resistance in Libra again, or probably someone can look this up online. But my gut feeling is that it's the same. Well, guess I'll have another opportunity to find out.
On your toes.
Okay, so yeah, the chain resistance appears to be the same, so I don't think it changes unless it's doing something that doesn't show up on Libra. But I think the reason why it feels like it's just so easy to stagger after it stands up is just because chances are you've gotten it most of the way into stagger state anyway. Hey, I wonder, is this a good time for Quake? That was alright, I guess. It didn't really do that much. This might be... Oh, wait, I know what I should be doing. Okay, so he's susceptible to Deprotect, so I should probably have a paradigm that's 2 Ravagers and a Saboteur with Deprotect. I don't know if anyone in my party is capable of doing that right now, but I guess I'll find out after this battle. And yeah, Ravager, Saboteur can also manage the stagger meter, so it's not the worst thing. Four stars, could do better. Let's see. Okay, we established Fang does not have the Deprotect as a Saboteur. Let's see if she can get it. That's good. Disable spellcasting is really good, so let's upgrade that anyway, but it's not what I want. So do I want to swap Hope back for Vanille? That might be a good plan. Let's at least give it a shot just to see how that goes. Maybe it'll cause other problems not having a synergist, but I can reconsider that later. Oh, have I completely leveled up Saboteur for her? I have. Okay. What's next? Does she have any medic abilities I should... Oh, yes, she does. What is it? Raise. Yeah, definitely want that. Okay. Okay, so the usuals. Give me that Rav, Sab, Rab. What else do I need? I guess I could just leave in the panic button, might as well. Except not having Synergist would be bad for this fight. Maybe I can even it out just a little by using a spray. Oh, do I have combat clinic set to... Okay, well, I guess it doesn't really matter.
This'll be quick.
Two combat clinics when you definitely just need two panic buttons. Man, I'm bummed out that I got the stealth attack on this. I really wanted to see if this strategy would actually work. I really love their sound effect that is really good.
This'll be quick.
You can do it!
Barely. Time for another approach.
Yeah, but it wasn't really 5 stars. I cheated myself and I did not learn anything. I guess I can make... I really don't know what paradigm I want here. That's stupid. Already got solidarity. Sure, why not? I don't think that's useful, but it's fine.
I'll deal with you.
Yeah, just like really good awful chirping noises. I really like it. It really does just never stop being funny when Fang launches an enemy to their death.
Reigns?
What?
Oh, easy, guys. It's all right. Reigns is a Sanctum officer. He's been helping us out.
Why are you here? Reigns! You traitor!
I put you on the path. That was my focus.
You're a fal'Cie?
Since long before we met. I did my best to assist you, as bid by the Sanctum fal'Cie. Now do you understand? The fal'Cie have watched over you, guiding your every step. The luck that saved you time and again was a deliberate machination. Why, you may ask? The Primarch, or should I say, Bartandalus, is crafting you into the instruments of Cocoon's demise.
We've been played for fools.
A cocoon fal'Cie? Why?
Why? To restore the Maker.
The Maker?
The entity responsible for creating both humans and fal'Cie. Long ago, the Maker departed this world, leaving the two races behind. In a sense, human and fal'Cie are brothers, orphaned by the same parent. As for the humans, they forgot the order imposed by the Maker. They began to war amongst themselves for the first time in history. The fal'Cie focused on recalling their lost deity and returning the world to its former glory. This purpose lies at the heart of all their actions. Calling back the Maker requires a fitting sacrifice.
Yeah, we've heard. The destruction of Cocoon.
The lives of this world's entire populace in bloody tribute.
No. That's crazy talk.
I don't get it. Why do they need us? Couldn't the fal'Cie end Cocoon with just a thought?
Their existence is bound to the creation and maintenance of this floating shell. It is their very nature that holds them in check.
You mean Cocoon fal'Cie can't destroy Cocoon? They needed tools.
If we can stop this by doing nothing, we'll do nothing.
Noble. I expected as much.
The courage to do nothing.
Lie to us. What happened to your dream of rebuilding Cocoon for the people? Was it all a lie?
A shadow of a dream. From when I was human. It was change I craved. And once I'd built the influence to make things happen, there was change. I gained all the power I could hope for, but was a puppet with no will to wield it. It wasn't the fal'Cie who changed. It was me.
You were made a l'Cie?
A l'Cie, tied to an inescapable focus, a slave of destiny. I'd lost hope. I'd all but given up on dreams of freedom.
What are you saying?
I'm here of my own accord, not by fal'Cie order. Seeing you fight brought it all back. Brought back that future I once strove for. I, too, will challenge my fate.
What?
Easy, guys.
If I can defeat you here, the fal'Cie plan will fail.
Reigns!
I will use all my remaining power. I will set you free!
Well, I've got good news for everyone who didn't like that necktie.
Reigns.
Give it your best shot.
Plans actions according to target's role. Okay. Well, I guess let's So it's acceptable to slow, so let's try try the smart bomb. Get some sabotage in there. I do think one thing that this fight kind of emphasizes is that they kind of missed a really good opportunity to, you know, they have this thing where fal'Cie powers, like, becoming a fal'Cie gives you a monstrous form eventually and, like, turns you into, you know, like, the further along you get, like, the more you turn monstrous. But, like, they don't really ever show that happening with the party. Like, they have, like, the fal'Cie brands, but that's it. And, like, obviously there's a reason why. It's very easy to do a single different character design for Cid in this boss fight, but, like, would be difficult to have people's designs change over time. But it still definitely does feel like a missed opportunity to, you know, like, show, like, people's conditions, like, changing as they get, like, more falling to the magic of the fal'Cie over time. I feel like that would have been a really cool thing if, like, that was happening to the whole party.
Thanks.
Let's go!
Just get staggered already, you jerk.
Take down the enemy.
My will is my own. My will is my strength. I will not die a fal'Cie slave.
Oh, yeah?
Appreciate it. This'll be quick.
You can do it!
Thanks.
Don't give up!
Yeah, no, the effects on the symbols are really good. Aw, he can't get...
Appreciate it.
Damn it, he blocked the launch, but blocked the smite. Jerk. I do like his motivation here a lot. Like, it is true. Even if he gets killed here, he will not, in fact, have died a fal'Cie slave. I kind of wish they'd played up the tragedy of that a little more. Like,
Thanks.
if they played up the aspect of, like, it's a good, strong concept. Like, it does make me sympathize with him. I think, like, they probably could have gotten a little more pathos out of it, actually. Like, especially the aspect of, like, if he knows he's doing something doomed here by, like, trying to fight us, just because it's doing something out of his own free will, even if it's not necessarily something that'll work out well for his goals. I think that's good. Like, I think they could have played up how tragic this is. But it still does work.
Don't give up.
Appreciate it.
You can do it.
Yeah, Moriarty in chat is saying that this is actually a win-win situation for him, which is true. Either he wins and the whole fal'Cie plan here fails, although if he wins, he's going to turn into a monster, so it's still not great.
This'll be quick.
The fal'Cie has no hold over me.
Oh boy.
Take down the enemy.
But yeah, I do think it would be good if they played up, like, he would rather die as a fal'Cie and, like, have still at least done something while, like, he still has free will, as opposed to, like, turning into one of those shambling monsters.
Follow my lead.
My will is my strength.
Oh, I don't love that.
Take down the enemy.
Can I react to Seraphic Ray? I don't feel like I can.
Follow my lead.
I mean, I will also say not every boss needs to have a lot of pathos. It's like fine if he doesn't. I don't think it really is that big a deal. It's just a missed opportunity is all.
Take down the enemy.
I do like that he fights with a similar abilities to you. That's like a really good way of conveying that, you know, he has the same powers. Oh. Yeah, this would definitely be a tough fight without Rays.
Give it your best shot.
My will is my strength.
This'll be quick.
Follow my lead.
You are mine. The fal'Cie has no hold over me.
Best shot.
On your way.
Appreciate it.
My will is my strength.
Give it your best shot.
You can do it. Thanks.
Thank you.
I wish the barks were slightly less I don't even think it's a problem that they're, like, repetitive. I think it's just that they happen too often in a single fight. Like, if they just limited the number of times it would happen over the span of a single fight, but, like, you still got, you know, this'll be quick every fight, that'll be fine. balls. Fuck. I don't like the thing where if the first player dies,
Reigns?
then
Long ago.
you party wipe. That's not good. Yeah, you're right. I think having a synergist on those. Yeah, let's just drop out of that combat and look at these paradigms. I feel like I can do better. I think this might just be we put Hope back in. I think he might just be more useful under these circumstances. Okay. So I have steady damage, but needs to heal like a normal healing paradigm. I have a panic healing paradigm. Do I really want that to be my only healing? No, I don't. Let's get some sabotage in there. I think that's what I want to be doing when they're guarding. And then, yeah, smart bomb under the same circumstances I was doing before. Okay. I think that's a better game plan. Also, let's just level up everyone. No reason not to. I actually remembered to press the bumpers that time. Yay for me. Oh yeah, let's get Fog. What was the ability that I didn't get? It's missing one ability. I don't know what it is. This is... Oh, I see. It's right here. Okay, let's look at this again. We got a ComCom Rav. I think that's okay. Wait, I still didn't spend everything on Hope. So which one do I want to start with? Probably in this case, Smart Bomb. Okay, sorry about your tragic destiny, Sid. I guess I still need to do Libra. Doesn't really tell me much. Well, that sucked.
Got your back.
Thank you. Let's go!
Wait, shit, he's using guard. Okay, that's my opportunity to even yachts.
Thanks.
I guess that means he's not guarding anymore. Yeah, Fang has slow, so that's helping a bunch. But we had that on deck in the first fight as well, so it goes a long way, but only so far. And yeah, she doesn't have poison. Oh, fuck. I see the problem. She's not casting anything. Okay, let's keep it in Relentless Assault then. I don't think she has the thing that renews debuffs. I think that's the reason why she's not doing anything. It would be nice if I could get a smite on him, but I'm not really holding my breath. It really depends on if I can get the juggle going. One thing about the way smite works is that, like, it does reward you for having juggles, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's like I mean, that's a good thing to reward. Also, Hope has Aurora, which I think, wow, okay. Damn. Yeah, no, that definitely came down to, I think, the juggle synchronizing. If he'd hit the ground once in that, I think he would have used guard, and I think it's based around that. I think that's why it took 3 minutes when it expected 12 minutes. I'll take it. It was strategic. That was strategy.
Ironic, isn't it? The only thing I wanted was a moment of triumph. How it ends isn't important. Just do what you know is right. Trust yourselves.
What? Did he complete his focus?
I don't think so. All Reigns did was try to save Cocoon in his own way. His own way.
Hey!
Where are you?
Snow! I think Reigns was searching for a way to make us understand. To understand the frustration of being a l'Cie bound to a focus, and maybe what it meant to be human.
Freaking jerks.
On your knees!
Dang. They don't have knees. Okay, yeah, they're healing somehow because it started at half health, but like it went up. I wonder how that works. Yeah, maybe they heal when they do damage. That'd be an interesting way to do it. I feel like fighting these bombs, which I don't think quite work, is making me really interested to see how getting the cars bombs work, because we have a similar enemy type where they're enemies that the instant they enter stagger at 100%, so they don't take more damage. And once their stagger meter runs out, then they explode. And they combine with enemies in interesting ways. So I'm interested to see how those actually turn out in practice, but I feel like that's one of the more interesting ideas I've had. Sorry, if you're hearing a buzzing in the background, that's just Miguel's doorbell. I don't want to give away too much, but one of the things I'm most excited about is pairing them up with the enemy that equalizes every enemy stagger bar. Should have some fun results.
Keep out of this.
I don't know which side I like more here. Like,
Let's go. This'll be quick. This'll be quick.
okay, so here's the thing. Getting a car it's definitely going to have some encounters that are mean. I like the difficult encounters in Final Fantasy XIII, and they're definitely like a big inspiration for the design. But it is also the case that like my hard fights and Final Fantasy XIII's hard fights are actually like, mine just can't be as hard as 13's because I can't have a full party wipe. Like, a failure state in this is if you get totally wiped by the enemies. And that's like the only thing that'll destroy you is if lightning dies or if player 1 dies. So like in general that means like party wipe. Whereas in Get in the Car, because like you don't get a heal at the end of every fight, you also have to worry about health attrition. And like not using up all your potions.
This'll be quick.
And like, you know, staying on top of healing. So
This'll be quick.
it's actually means in practice, my fights are just not, they just can't be as hard as a Final Fantasy XIII fight. Like, I just can't have the giant damage swings that this game does. And yeah, it's definitely more along the lines of, like, classic Final Fantasy also has this thing of, you know, like, the potion economy. Not just classic Final Fantasy, but like a lot of JRPGs have like stuff like the potion economy, but it is also pulling a lot from Lightning Returns in that you have healing abilities that like, or you have abilities to mitigate damage that aren't about like healing, because healing's very expensive. Yeah, okay, that was 0 stars. I'll accept that. Anyway, we have some people coming over for movie night, so I'm just gonna pack it up here, even though we're close to the end. And next week, well, we'll see more. And I will be finally out of the final boss mine, so hopefully I'll have something new to show off and Get in the Car Loser. Also, this Sunday we will be starting up the stream again. We are going to be showing the sequel to Another World, Heart of the Alien, until we'll play a little bit of that. And we're also going to be playing Flashback, which is sort of another take on a sequel to that. So yeah, please join us on Sunday, usual time, and next week the fal'Cie road trip will continue. Thank you so much for joining me. It's always really a pleasure.